Published 1909 EDT, the 17th of September 2017. Updated 1909 EDT, the 17th of September 2017. There has been no repeat, in public at least, of last season's bombastic boasts that Rangers are going for 55, but money talks. Than Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers believes an £18 million summer refit in Govan has sent out the stark message that the Ibrox side still see themselves as title contenders. However, after just 6 Scottish Premiership matches, Pedro Caixinhas' men are not as close to the bitter rivals as they would have hoped. Rangers defender Declan John could replace captain Lee Wallace against Celtic on Saturday, going into Saturday's first Old Firm clash of the season at Ibrox. Rangers sit in third, 5 points off the leaders, after losing to Hibs and drawing with Hearts and Partick Thistle. That 5-point gap could become an 8-point chasm next weekend should Celtic continue where they left off last season. Under Rodgers, 5 out of 6 Old Firm clashes were won by Celtic, including 51 victories home and away in the league. The other match was drawn 11 at Celtic Park. The goal-scoring return this past weekend of star striker Moussa Dembele, who notched 5 Old Firm strikes last season, must represent a major worry to a porous Rangers defence that has recorded just 1 clean sheet in 6 attempts. The likely absence of Ibrox captain Lee Wallace, who limped off injured during last Friday's 22 draw with Thistle in Maryhill, is another cause of concern for Caixinhas. But one man's misfortune is another's opportunity, and should Wallace, as expected, not recover in time for Saturday, his place would go to Declan John. Twice capped by Wales, John was Caixinhas' 11th summer arrival when he joined on loan from Cardiff City on transfer deadline day. But the 22-year-old has big game experience, his breakthrough season in the English Premier League seeing him come up against some of the game's global greats. In 201,314, he got up close and personal with the likes of Luis Suarez, Fernando Torres, Sergio Aguero, Robin van Persie and Wayne Rooney. The 22-year-old Welshman joined Rangers during the summer from Cardiff and could feature in his first Old Firm derby of the season at Ibrox for John, then facing a side that are unbeaten domestically in the last 55 matches is not enough to strike fear into his heart. Am I ready to play in the Old Firm game? Of course, I want to play as many minutes as I can for Rangers, he said. The chance to play in the Old Firm game was one of the big attractions in moving up here. The clubs are the 2 biggest in Scotland, and to be able to play in one of those games would be superb. But I have come up against good players in my time. When I was playing in the Premier League at 17 and 18 years of age, I was up against all those top stars. Brendan Rodgers. Celtic have won 5 of the previous 6 meetings between the old rivals, coming out 51 winners on 2 occasions and drawing once at Celtic Park, so I'm not really going to fear anyone that I play against. The biggest game of my career so far is Cardiff v Swansea, but obviously the derby up here is massive. I'm looking forward to hopefully featuring in it. Friday's other Glasgow derby was just 12 minutes old when Wallace limped off with a recurrence of a groin problem against Thistle. That meant a first taste of Scottish football for John, but he felt only disappointment for the man he replaced, with Wallace having helped him settle into life in Glasgow. Lee has been here for years and he has done well in his career, said John. He has been showing me some tips in training, which is always good from a player of that stature. I've been taking it in. I have been here for 2 weeks now, and he has put his arm around me and shown me around the place. He is a good guy. and the Scottish champions are 5 points clear of Rangers ahead of Saturday's historic clash. For you get a call to come off the bench that early in the game. It is all a bit mad. It was hard to get used to the pace of the game at first, but I got there in the end. I thought it was very fast. The training we do is quick, and the Scottish games I've seen on the TV before were quick. Before Friday, the only Scottish game that I had watched is Rangers v Celtic. I didn't have much knowledge of the game up in Scotland, but I have more now. I think the fast pace suits me, and I thought I did quite well on Friday night. Despite not being able to record 3 wins in a row for the first time under Caixinhas, standing captain Graham Dorrans showed his class in rescuing a point with a stunning late equaliser at the Energy Check Stadium at Firhill. Ryan Jack has added steel and composure to the Ibrox midfield, and he set up yet another goal for Alfredo Morelos, who continues to look every inch the 20-plus goals a season Predator Rangers have been craving. But Caixinhas was left lamenting defensive errors after Fabio Cardoso gave away a free kick that led to Blair Spittle's equaliser. But the 22-year-old claims he does not fear the Scottish champions, having played in the Premier League against the likes of Luis Suarez left, Fernando Torres and Wayne Rooney. His defence was then posted missing as Chris Erskine tapped in a second before the striker was later sent off for a foul on Morales. However, John believes there were positives to take into Saturday's Old Firm clash, which comes after Rangers return to Maryhill to face Partick in the Betfred League Cup quarter-finals tomorrow night. The previous 2 games against Ross County and Dundee, the boys had got the wins, but against Partick Thistle I felt we showed we can play, said John. With some of the football we played, we could have got a goal at the end. We pushed, but we couldn't get a winner. Looking ahead to next weekend, we just need to shut out the Old Firm circus. We're just taking things game by game, and hopefully we can get a good result.